Hi.
And welcome to the Wrist Rocket Podcast. How's it going?
I'm okay.
Good. We are your hosts, Freebiy and
Clover.
yeah. I don't know.
Not Weedy.
I'm never good at the intro bits.
Yeah, the intro bits are hard.
I used to be good at it when I was a YouTuber, but now I'm not. I can't do this anymore. But yeah, welcome to the Wrist Rocket Podcast. A podcast all about wrist rockets and Star Wars.
More on Star Wars, less on wrist rockets.
More on Star Wars, yeah. This podcast is literally a joke.
Kind of, yeah.
It spurred from a joke that we've had for how long, would you say? Literally years.
At least high school.
Well, when high school?
I remember there was one time I was sitting in my car senior year eating lunch, and then we just started doing this.
So, what was that?
That was almost
3 years?
4 years ago, almost.
4? Oh my god. So yeah, this joke has been around for a while. Now that we've been doing now loading for a while, and we kind of have a basic idea of how to podcast, we're actually making the joke reality.
Yeah.
So, unlike now loading, this podcast is not going to be structured in any way. We don't have like a set time, because at least with now loading, we try to be anywhere between 2 hours to 3 hours, just depending on how much shit we have to talk about. This could go anywhere from half an hour to 3 hours depending on how much we want to talk about.
Yeah.
So, because the conversations that we have are spur of the moment, non-scripted, obviously. Not scripted. Spur of the moment, non-structured, that's what I was looking for. And they just kind of happen, so kind of like this podcast. So I hope you'll stick around for this weird journey that we're gonna go on, because it's gonna be something. It's gonna be something.
Yeah.
So what's happening in the world of Star Wars right now?
Really?
Nothing.
Yeah, not a ton, I would say, but
probably some of the newest things that we could talk about are Squadrons, Bad Batch. That's it.
There is actually one news thing I just remembered. They have pushed back the scheduled Star Wars movies that were supposed to come out, I think, in 2 years. They pushed them out. They pushed them back a year. There was supposed to be like a string of 3 that were gonna come out every 2 years. I mean, like they did with the new trilogy. But yeah, we have no idea what those movies are supposed to be.
Are any of those the Rian Johnson trilogy?
I have no clue.
Is he still making a trilogy?
Maybe.
Because I think he'd make a great trilogy if it was all him.
Yeah.
Because The Last Jedi may not have been my favorite movie, but there were still some good things about it.
Yeah. But like,
we should preface this now. We don't outright hate the sequel trilogy. We just like to bitch about it.
Yeah.
I think
it's fun to make fun of it.
It really is. I think what Disney's doing with the new stuff is good. It'll never be as good as when George was doing it, but it's still good. However, my favorite movie since Disney took over is none of the sequel trilogy. My favorite movie is Solo.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it would have been Rogue One.
Rogue One and Solo are up there, and then the rest is in order of 7, 8, 9.
Yeah, I would probably say it's Rogue One for me. I just absolutely love the ending of Rogue One.
It was Rogue One for a while, but after just recently rewatching Solo like a week or two ago, Solo's at the top of my list right now.
Solo is actually just like a super fun movie.
It's just a bunch of dudes being bros.
Yeah, like really, if you go into it not thinking like super duper hardcore Star Wars, you will have a great time.
Oh yeah, it's like a great just like buddy adventure.
Yeah. Like
you can't go wrong with Han, Lando, and Chewbacca. You
yeah,
really can't.
It's like the power trio right there.
Exactly. Which is why I'm happy that I've been hearing some certain rumors recently about how Donald Glover Lando, is getting a Disney Plus show.
Really?
However, those are rumors.
Yeah.
Nothing's been confirmed yet. But that would be amazing. Because it would be like the Lando show, but Han and Chewbacca would probably end up being in it as well.
Yeah.
As kind of like a way to, like the fake... Well, I guess maybe not like the fake, but like that would be Solo 2 right there.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people want Solo 2.
I think that there was supposed to be like Solo 2, but then
I think
after
there
like
was, but the backlash from The Last Jedi kind of ruined it.
the backlash from The Last Jedi ruined pretty much it kind of ruined Solo.
Solo does not deserve the shit it got.
No.
It was great.
And so yeah, Solo then just bombed hard at the box office.
I guess it also doesn't help that they didn't release it around the same time they normally would.
That's true, yeah.
Because Star Wars, at least now, is like, it's a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
That's not how it was for original trilogy or sequel or the prequel trilogy. I don't actually know. I never saw any of those in theaters.
Yeah.
We're too young for that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I probably would have seen episode 3 if I wasn't in theaters if I wasn't like 6.
Same.
Because it was kind of graphic for like a 6-year-old.
Yeah, I mean, I remember discovering Star Wars before Revenge of the Sith, but I didn't see Revenge of the Sith in theaters.
Yeah. I remember going to StarWars.com in the good old days when there were like the games on there. That's at the time where like internet games were just like the best.
Oh yeah, like they were all browser based and it
Yeah.
was amazing.
And then like there was this quiz game, and I just remember sitting there, like I of course I was alive when episode 2, like episode even 1 and 2 came out.
Yeah.
But I don't remember it. And I remember I was taking this quiz, and you have to like pick the option, which movie is this from? And there was options for 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6. I'm like, where's 3?
Where's 3?
Because it wasn't out yet.
Phantom Menace came out in what, 99?
Yeah.
How old were we at that point? I was like 1.
I
probably.
was not even a year old.
Probably not even a year for me, because I was 98, late 98, so I probably wouldn't have even been a year at that
I
point.
was maybe 2 months old, I want to say.
What month did Phantom Menace come out?
I'm looking that up right now.
He's a cat, and I love my cat.
Let's see here. It came out May 19th.
May 19th. Okay. So I'm bad at I'm bad. I'm just going to say I was like, I don't know how old I was.
I wouldn't have even been 2 months old.
I'm really bad at with like time and stuff, so I'm not even going to guess how old I was. I just know that I was born at the tail end of 98. So.
Yeah. You were born
So December. Like 6 months old maybe?
Yeah. About that.
Sure,
5 or
let's go with
6.
that. 5 or 6. 5 or 6 months old.
I'm too lazy to do the math right now.
Yeah, I'm just too stupid to do the math right now.
Yeah.
So, what were we talking about?
I don't know. We got on this weird tangent.
Oh, when Solo was released at a weird time.
Yeah.
It probably would have done a lot better around Christmas time because
that's just
what
when
people do.
Yeah, that came out like within months of The Last Jedi.
Because that came out. Did that come out in May too?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it didn't work.
No.
I'm a strong believer there's no such thing as too much Star Wars, but you can have Star Wars too quickly.
Yeah.
That was Star Wars too quickly.
Yeah, I don't think that their problem was that they kept putting out movies. It's just the problem that, like, okay, here's The Last Jedi. Okay, here's, like, 3 months. Okay, here's another movie. I mean, Marvel does that, but that's because it's always been
so different, though.
Yeah, like...
And they're doing it right. Star Wars right now isn't.
Yeah. So, and I don't think the solution was to push it from, like, 3-month releases to 2-year releases. If they just kept, like, 1 a year, they'd probably be fine.
I think they should do maybe a year in between, I think they should do once every 2 years.
So what they're trying to do now?
Yeah, because at least for now until they get it nailed down. Because
I guess there's also a situation where there's other ways of getting your Star Wars other than just movie. Because once again, comparing it to Marvel, only way you're getting your stuff on that is through the movies.
Yeah.
But with Star Wars, there's books, there's games, there's all kinds of stuff. There's also movies, there's shows.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, I guess you could say that for Marvel too, but like Marvel as we know it as the MCU is only movies.
Yeah.
I guess that'll change at some point because Disney Plus has a bunch of MCU shows coming out. Like I'm excited for the Falcon and Winter Soldier show. That'll be awesome.
Yeah.
Same with the Loki one.
Yeah. But this isn't a Marvel show.
No, this is a Star Wars podcast. We shouldn't be talking about Marvel, even though Marvel is awesome. I guess talking about Disney Plus still, Bad Batch was announced recently. Was that like a couple weeks ago?
I think so. Maybe even last week. I don't know.
I don't think it was last week. I think it was at least 2 weeks ago.
Who knows? Doesn't matter.
Bad Batch is technically the Clone Wars sequel that people have been asking for.
I think I think it's gonna be kind of like a Republic Commando show that we've wanted or something like that.
It's gotta be because it's obviously following the Bad Batch introduced in season 7 of the Clone Wars. So we might get into spoilers if you haven't seen season 7 yet, because I know there are some people who still haven't that are waiting till coronavirus is over to watch it with people.
Fair.
Which we didn't do. We very much broke that, like the self-quarantine rule or whatever.
To be fair, there's only one get together.
Yeah, but
and to be fair, we're doing that right now.
Yeah. Bad Batch following, what is it? I can't remember the names. I just remember Echo. And Wrecker. Echo and Wrecker. And Crosshair.
Is Echo... Echo's not bad... Oh, yeah, he is. Never mind.
He is now.
Yeah.
Okay, I can remember some of them. There's Echo, Wrecker, Crosshair, Tech. I can remember 4 of the 5 of them. I can't remember the last one. The rainbow-looking dude. I can't remember his name. What's his name? Oh, God.
I'm gonna let you try to figure this out. Long silence. Come on, you're almost there.
No, I'm not. I have no idea. It's Echo, Wrecker, Tech, Crosshair.
That's it.
Knife Guy.
Hunter.
Okay. Knife Guy.
Knife Guy.
I mean, he's got a cool knife.
I mean, he does.
Knife Guy. It'll take place, what they said, shortly after Order 66.
Shortly after.
And how the Bad Batch is trying to find their way in an entirely different galaxy. Because, the rise of the Empire and whatnot.
Yeah.
It doesn't really specify if they're still working for the Empire or what they're going to do.
Yeah.
They said 2021 is the release, right?
I don't know. I haven't looked too much into it, but...
Neither have I. Well, there's not really much to look into yet.
No.
But that's happening, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think they've confirmed that it'll continue the art style of the Clone Wars.
Nice.
So they're not gonna
They're not gonna Rebels it.
I still think Rebels was close enough, though.
It looked weird.
I mean, it was weird, but it was close enough. You could tell that it was like a quote Dave Filoni show.
Yeah.
Unlike Resistance.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's happening. We don't know much about it. I'm excited for it. Darth Vader appearance would be cool. I don't know. Is there any other characters from the Clone Wars that could theoretically still be alive that could make an appearance that you'd like to see? Like Cad Bane, maybe?
That'd be cool. Hunters? Yeah, whatever happened to him?
Technically, I think he was supposed to die in a deleted scene.
Really?
Yeah, where Boba killed him in a duel.
Huh.
In a high noon duel or whatever.
That would have been cool.
Yeah, it would have been cool. I think there are animatics at it. There are animatics of it out on the internet somewhere. They had it that's what they were going to do, and he was going to die, but since that never happened, he could still be alive.
Yeah.
Boba would be a cool character to show up.
I would like Boba. I'd also like Boba and Mando. But
we'll get to Mando in a minute.
Yeah. Maybe.
I think
if we remember.
Because there's a lot to talk about, rumor-wise, for Mando.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff coming out for that.
I can't wait for it. But Bad Batch. I don't know. Vader appearance would be cool. Maybe a Rex or a Cody appearance.
Maybe.
Other clones.
I would like to see Cody more than Rex, mainly because we know what happens with Rex.
Yeah, because we don't... We know what happens to Cody in Legends, but not in canon.
Yeah.
Because I believe in Legends, Cody dies in The Force Unleashed 2 when the Starkiller clone escapes.
Seriously?
I think that's what happened to him.
That's such an underwhelming way to go.
I know, right? Because in Legends, he was stationed on Kamino to train the next generation of Stormtroopers.
Huh.
And obviously Kamino clones,
but
Starkiller clone escapes, kills Cody in the process.
But didn't they stop cloning for the Stormtroopers?
Well, for the Stormtroopers, yeah, but I don't know.
Who was Cody training?
I don't know. Humans?
No, they would just send them to this cloning facility to train.
I guess. I think they turned it from it's a cloning facility, but they also have these advanced training areas. So they were probably just using that stuff.
Maybe. Who knows?
We got a small glimpse of that in the opening of Republic Commando.
Yeah.
That was pretty advanced.
Yeah.
So maybe they're just using that.
Maybe.
I'm pretty sure that's how Cody died anyways. He just died randomly in The Force Unleashed 2. which is sad because he's an awesome character.
Yeah. But yeah, with the Bad Batch, I think that is kind of like almost Disney's way of doing like a Republic Commando-esque thing, because I mean, one of the things that I've wanted the most is somewhere bring back Republic Commandos, whether it be in a game or in a show like that, and they are canon. They are in the Clone Wars.
It's happened several times. Delta Squad was in the Clone Wars. Commandos are now in Battlefront 2.
Yes.
And the Bad Batch is now their own show.
Yeah. And so, like, I'm sort of taking it as an alternative to, like, having a Delta Squad show.
I'm fine with it, because
Yeah,
the Bad Batch are cool.
Yeah. And by doing this, they're not having to rely on what people expect out of something that's not Disney.
Exactly, yes.
So
it would be cool for maybe, like, Delta Squad to make a cameo in the show.
Yeah.
But I think this is a good alternative to just having, like, a Delta Squad show or movie. Maybe I would still maybe like a Delta Squad spin-off movie.
That'd be cool.
But I doubt that would happen. Or a remaster of the original game and a sequel.
Yeah.
Also doubt that would happen. But
yes.
That'd be cool. Because that's a great game and very underappreciated.
Yeah. Lucasfilm, or
LucasArts.
Yeah, LucasArts. Whoever is in charge of the Star Wars games right now, the old ones, they seem to be, like, realizing people like these.
Yes.
And so they're, like, porting them and stuff. Like, I have Bounty Hunter on PS4. I don't know how long that's been on there.
I haven't gotten that yet. I need to.
Yeah, it's the wonkiest control.
4?
What?
Is it only on PlayStation 4?
I think it is.
Damn. I'd rather get it on PC, but if I can get it on the PS4, I'll do it.
Might be on PC. Actually, I think it might be on Steam. But,
I'll look later.
But yeah, there's, like, Jedi Academy, Jedi Outcast.
Peak lightsaber combat right there.
Yeah.
I don't care what people say about Fallen Order. It's good, but peak lightsaber combat is Jedi Knight.
Yeah. And then there's, like, Episode 1 Racer. That's a good game.
Never played it. I don't think I ever will.
I have it on Nintendo 64, and I used to have a very wonky controller. It was impossible to play that game because it is so fast. That is such a fast-paced game.
I think what's the first Star Wars video game you ever played? Because I think
probably that.
I know what mine is.
It's probably either that or Episode 1 Battle for Naboo on my Nintendo 64.
That's a starfighting game, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's kind of like a spin-off of the like Rogue Squadron, Rogue Leader, that kind of stuff.
I kind of joined the Star Wars gaming scene late. I think my first game was Battlefront 2004.
Really?
Yeah. And then I played Battlefront 2, then the Lego games. Didn't play all the Lego games. I stopped at the Clone Wars and then, the new Battlefronts, and that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
I've gone back and played some old ones like Republic Commando. I've played some of the night games, not all of them.
But yeah, like...
yeah.
I have played, like, my fair share of them. So, like, I have... Let's see here. I have Rogue Elite... Okay, first of all, kind of an aside thing for the games. There's the game, I think it's Rogue Squadron. Because there's Rogue Leader, Rogue Squadron. And Rebel Strike. I think it's Rebel Strike. Yeah, Rebel Strike. So, there's the game Rogue Squadron, and then the sequel to that is Rebel Strike. And in Rebel Strike, it's really cool because they both came out for the GameCube, but they took the entire game for Rogue Squadron and put it into Rebel Strike as co-op, as a co-op campaign.
Really?
Yeah, so it has its own separate single-player campaign, plus a split-screen co-op version of Rogue Squadron.
That's awesome,
It is. And then there's also like a multiplayer versus mode, and a version where you can...
Have I split-screened this game with you before? Because that sounds familiar.
Maybe at some point a long time ago.
Because I remember doing some split-screen, like, Starfighter game with you, specifically.
Maybe we did. I don't know.
But that would have been a long time ago.
Yeah. But in addition to that, there were also... I'm not sure if this was in Rogue Squadron or Rebel Strike, but you could be Darth Vader, and you could play as the Empire in some levels.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like, there were some levels where you would get in your TIE Advance and fight the Rebels, but they were harder because the X-Wings were a lot tougher to shoot down than TIE Fighters. Like, they had a lot more health. TIE Fighters than that, you just shoot them once and then they go explode, burst into flames.
That seems pretty accurate to the movies.
Yeah, but then, like, I don't know, those are cool, and you could either be in your TIE Advance, a normal TIE Fighter, which why would you do that, or an Imperial shuttle. Don't know why that's an option, but it was cool to fly.
I guess back then there wasn't that many options for Imperial ships.
I think you might have been able to do an Interceptor, I'm not sure. But then, like, also in Rogue Squadron, um, you slowly unlock more and more ships over time. So you would start with, like, it was really cool in the start of a mission because it would put you in this hangar, like I think it was a hangar on Home 1. And if you were pretty much who you were going to be, whether it be like Luke or Wedge or someone like that, because you would be multiple characters throughout it. And you could just like run around this hangar.
Oh yeah, I remember some of this. I don't think I ever owned the game myself, but I remember playing it again, probably with you.
Yeah, and then you could just like run around the hangar, pick your ship, and go. And it started out you had like your X-wing, your Y-wing,
Couldn't
and
you end up
stuff.
getting Obi-Wan's Starfighter from Attack of the Clones?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that.
You could.
I remember that because there was a mission where you crash on Geonosis and fight battle droids.
You could. So you could get so many ships. This hangar would be so loaded with stuff. You could end up getting a B-wing. Remember, all this stuff is in the same hangar. You can get a B-wing. You can get a Naboo starfighter.
Nice.
You can get a car.
Hello?
You can get a car that can fly and shoot.
Like a human car or
Yes.
Star Wars car?
A human car.
Like an Earth car?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't know that.
You can get the Millennium Falcon. You can get Slave 1.
Nice.
You can get a TIE Bomber.
Nice.
A TIE Fighter.
Nice.
A TIE Interceptor.
Okay.
And like all of this insane stuff. You can get... Oh, there was... What is it called? I think it was like a TIE Phantom.
What's that?
I don't know. I might be remembering it wrong. But it almost worked like an X-Wing in that it had like wings that folded down and folded back up. They didn't have like guns on them, but
Weird.
I think like in lore they could turn invisible, but that would be broken if you could do that. But also this is in the game where this is in the era of games where there's all kinds of broken stuff in them.
True.
But yeah, that game was awesome. I loved it, and it was impossible to do a lot of missions in the Millennium Falcon or Slave 1 just because they were way too big. The game was not made to have ships that big flying through stuff.
Oh my god. I feel like I missed out on like the golden age of Star Wars video games.
I think you did.
I feel like we're in the second coming though, but I miss the original golden age.
Yeah, I think there should be a time you should come over to my house and we could play Rogue
That'd be
Squadron.
great.
Or Rebel Strike, whatever it's called. I don't remember which one it is.
Because I never, because I had growing up I had an Xbox. That was it. I was an Xbox kid, so like all these GameCube games I never really played. Not until I had a Wii, anyways, and I didn't get a shit ton of like GameCube games.
Yeah.
The only GameCube games I can remember getting were Chibi Robo and like Smash Melee or whatever.
Classics right there.
Good classics too.
Yeah.
I wish they made more Chibi Robo. Not.
Oh, well, that's a weather alert.
It's Wednesday, my dudes.
That is true.
I don't.
That's right. Tornado can't hit us on Wednesday. It's against the rules.
It's legally. It's bound by law to not happen. I don't know if the mics picked that up, but we just heard like a weather alert test in the other room.
Yeah.
Which happens every Wednesday where we live.
Yeah.
So. I always forget that happens, and it always catches me off guard.
Yeah. There's times where I'm sleeping, and then the tornado siren will go down at the school.
There have been times where I've been at work early in the morning, and they go off, and I'm like, why is no one running for cover? Oh wait, it's Wednesday.
Yeah. Not the point.
No. Not
Man,
the
we
point
got
at all.
that took a weird turn.
Well, we hear weird things, and we just start talking.
True.
I said at the top of the show, this would be non-structured, and we just kind of talk.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. There might be structure to the show as we go, but right now we're just kind of talking into microphones.
Yeah, we're just kind of winging it.
Yeah.
But yeah, those games were good back in the day, and I would highly recommend you finding a way to go back and like.
I know that there are a
play
lot
them.
of old games on Steam, but I don't remember what is and isn't on Steam, because at one point, you know that there's that collection of like $200 worth of Star Wars games.
Yeah.
I got that on sale for $50 once.
Yeah.
So I bought them all, but I think the collection's gotten bigger since then.
Really?
Because they added all the EA Star Wars games to Steam.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Um.
I'm trying to look at Steam right now, but it's not loading. Go on Steam, please. But yeah, I would highly recommend if they have Rogue Squadron on there.
Store. I'm looking up store in the Steam store.
If they have Rogue Squadron on there, I would highly recommend getting that because it's very good.
Republic, Battlefront 2, Fallen Squadron, Skywalker Saga, Battlefront. Oh, Episode 1 Racer's on there now.
Yeah!
Shadows of the Empire. Don't remember that.
They finally added that?
Imperial Assault, Legends of the Alliance.
Never heard of that.
I've never heard of that either. The Complete Collection, which is I no longer own because it's expanded. It's $225.35.
That's a steal right there.
Cartel coins, capitalism. Pinball DLCs.
Pinball.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Why the fuck is that?
There's Star Wars Yu-Gi-Oh?
No.
Oh, it's just normal Yu-Gi-Oh?
It's just Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't know why it's in there. Star Trek. No, it doesn't look like it.
Oh.
Light Blade VR. The
They just
Clone Wars
something
pack. That's a DLC for something.
Clone Wars character pack.
That's a Lego DLC.
Oh.
Man, they should not have made the Force Awakens Lego game.
Okay, that was the biggest waste of money in my entire life.
I've never played it, and I don't think I will.
I mean, it's a Lego game. I'll give it
And
that.
you can't go wrong with a Lego game, but you don't. At least with Star Wars, you don't make one off of one movie.
Yeah, like there's a bunch of garbage characters in it, like just random ones. Like, hey, you want to be Imperial Officer 1 or 2? Like, I don't know. But I think that there are also like Legends characters that you can be in it, or not Legends, but like out of
because there's like
out of era.
There's like DLC packs that you can buy, like Clone Wars packs.
Well, at the time that wasn't new.
Yeah,
to Lego games.
Well, I haven't played a Lego game since the Clone Wars.
Fair.
Or that wasn't a thing. So that outraged me when I saw it. It makes sense now, I guess, for like DLC for any game of any type, but that at the time that just pissed me off.
Yeah.
Because that seems like a very EA thing to do, and it's not EA who makes those.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I'm kind of happy I skipped out on it because it was literally just the entire movie, but a Lego.
Yeah.
And that's not what Lego games are. They're kind of like a retelling without like actual dialogue or whatever. It's just grunts.
Yeah.
So, oh well. I'll just play it when the Skywalker Saga comes out.
I hope that's good.
It better be good.
I saw like a picture of it the other day, and it literally looks like a picture you take of a Lego set. It looks really like the graphics look insanely good.
Oh my god. I want someone to get that on PC with me.
But why not like Xbox?
PC so I can stream it.
Oh, makes sense.
Speaking of continuing to speak of video games and stuff, we got a new one coming out soon. Squadrons.
Yes.
Are you excited for Squadrons?
Yes.
As am I. I'm gonna have to buy it twice.
Yeah.
So we're gonna need a
so spend that money.
We're gonna need a full squad for a console because we don't have one yet.
No.
It's 5v5, so we're gonna need a fifth person.
Yeah. Who on earth would be the fifth?
I don't know. I'm not even sure if we can convince Tyler and Keishta to get it.
I feel like we could probably get Tyler.
Tyler probably will just because he'll play anything.
Yeah.
Because do you know?
He'll at least try anything.
Yeah. Whether he sticks with it or not is another question, but he'll at least try it.
Yeah.
And, I don't know. From what I heard, there have been videos on YouTube of like Star Wars YouTubers playing it.
Really?
Yeah. I refuse to watch it.
Huh.
I don't want to see anything before I play it for the first time.
Yeah. I want to just know how like the mechanics and stuff will work because it just seems really like complex, and I want to know how it works because they said like they were talking about how you could redirect power to like your rear shields or something like that.
Yeah.
Or,
I don't get it. It'll probably make more sense once we actually. I wonder how that's going to work with controllers because that just seems like very like keyboard heavy to me. This game.
Yeah.
But then again, I don't know. It's going to be on everything excluding the Switch. But it's also going to be completely crossplay, I think too.
Really?
I think they said it's going to be completely crossplay.
Oh wait, yeah, I think I did hear that.
And it's also got VR support
And co-op campaign.
Yes. So it's gonna be an interesting game. It's gonna take place after Return of the Jedi and between the Battle of Jakku. But I think they also said that there's gonna be like a prelude campaign mission that takes place during the Battle of Yavin.
Really?
Yavin or Scarif? It's one of those two. I don't remember. But like your character in the campaign is gonna be totally customizable and whatnot.
Yeah.
So will your ship. Same with multiplayer, obviously. That's probably my favorite thing that they've said so far is how customizable everything's going to be.
If only the ship variety was as big as as Rebel Strike.
Oh, that'd be absurd.
Yes.
Just imagine a car.
But a weird trip back to Rebel Strike here. It is impossible to fly the Millennium Falcon in that in first person because there's a cockpit view for every single ship in it.
There is?
Yes.
That's cool.
And it's like nearly impossible to fly the Millennium Falcon because like 90% of the ship is just to the left of you, and it's hard to know how far that goes out. Anyway.
I think they said Squadron, or I know they said Squadrons is locked in first person.
Yeah.
Which there are some people who aren't too happy about that, but I am. It's cool to be locked in the cockpit of a game.
Yeah.
Especially in a game that has VR support.
Yeah.
Like, this is the ultimate Star Wars pilot simulation game.
Yeah.
So, however, it does not work with the Windows Mixed Reality headset. I've looked.
Seriously?
So I'm willing to invest in a Oculus just for this game.
Not a bad idea.
And it also has like flight simulator stick support.
Nice.
So I've also thought about getting one of those just for this. Like, I'm willing to go all out for Star Wars if that's not clear.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome. I assume we'll talk about that a lot when the game comes out.
Probably.
Because we're going to play it a lot.
Yeah.
I hope. I hope we played as much as we did Battlefront 2 when Battlefront 2 came out.
Yeah.
And I hope it's way better than Battlefront 2 when Battlefront 2 came out.
Yes. That was a mess.
But hey, no microtransactions.
Yeah.
So,
because
we're already doing something right.
Because that's a badge to wear proudly even now.
Yep. And it's a badge that EA will proudly wear, considering they're the ones that brought the downfall of the loot box.
Yes.
Well.
For
the start of the downfall, anyways.
Yeah. They're still putting them in Madden.
Well, who cares about Madden, though? Wait, why does Madden have loot boxes?
Ultimate Team. It's a mode called Ultimate Team where you just you kind of assemble your own team using like current players, and you get the players through loot boxes.
That's stupid.
That's the only way to get them.
That's stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, no, Squadron is gonna be great though.
Yeah. I also staying on video games. I want to get back into the Old Republic.
Ooh, yes, the Old Republic. That's popped up recently because it's on Steam now.
Yeah.
It's fun.
I need to go back in and actually finish all the main class stories.
I've got 3 left.
I think I have.
And
let's see here.
I'm on Corellia with the Bounty Hunter, so I'm so close.
So I have the Jedi Knight done, Smuggler, Sith Warrior, Bounty Hunter. So I think I have 4 done. And do I have one more? I might have one that's like close. I don't know. I haven't checked in a while. I had to delete off my computer to get space just for school.
That's totally fair. Are you gonna reinstall it through Steam?
I don't know.
I doubt there's gonna be any difference.
I don't think there is.
I don't think I will.
No.
Because I currently have it uninstalled too. But,
yeah. Though the Old Republic is probably one of the few games that would actually like take part in the microtransactions.
And I very actively do, because they give some awesome cosmetic stuff
They
in
do.
the hotel market.
They do.
But they seem to get it right, so.
Yeah.
Because it's like armors that are like based off of like canon stuff, and then like other Legends things. Like you can just straight up get Revan's armor and Malak's armor.
Yeah. I have the lower piece of Revan's armor because I remember I first saw that in the game. I'm like, oh dude, I can dress up like Revan. So what do? I go straight to the Galactic Trade Network, where everything's like 2 million credits.
Yep.
Before I didn't have a level. Before I had no credit cap, so I was capped at 250,000 credits. So I couldn't afford anything until one day I saw someone selling the lowest, like the waist piece of Revan's armor. I'm like, I'm gonna start my collection now. And I bought it. That's the only piece of that set that I have.
I think I just outright bought it on the cartel market, and then also unlocked the collection on my account so any character can use it.
Yeah, I got an absolute steal of an outfit of the gold cyborg outfit.
Gold cyborg?
You could.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
I got it for maybe like 100,000 credits on the GTN, and then. Just from there, I used it with that character and unlocked it for the legacy, so now everyone in my legacy can use it. So, yeah, it's awesome. It's actually really cool. I mainly wanted it because the character I was using, I wanted to go for a look where they had a robotic hand.
You just went with the entire robotic body?
Well, I was looking for the hand, and then I saw, like, the set. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, why spend who knows how much when I can just spend a little bit more and get the entire set? Like,
Right.
because just that one piece alone was going for a lot. So just like,
Jesus.
and I had enough for it, but I'm like, I can just get the whole thing right here, so why not? And also spread it across the entire legacy.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
The Old Republic is just like a Star Wars game that gets Star Wars right.
yeah,
But it's also being handled by BioWare, and they made KOTOR. And KOTOR's great.
yeah.
So, congratulations, BioWare.
Have you played through you've played through the latest expansion, right?
Yes, I've done both sides.
Okay, yeah.
Have you?
No, I don't have it installed.
Fair enough. I forgot about that. Yeah, I think I asked you that when it came out. It's like, no, I don't have it installed.
And I just said it not that long ago.
It's good. It very spoiler free. It goes back to the Republic versus Empire.
Yeah,
which is good.
I played like the teaser part of it that kind of ended with like Malgus coming back. I mean, that's kind of been a known thing for a while.
Yeah.
So, but like you're just kind of standing there, and Malgus just like strolls up, and you're like, "What are you doing here?" And they just like, "You do this and you do that." I'm like, "That came out of nowhere."
Yeah, Malgus. This is kind of a spoiler, but not really. They never explained why he came
Seriously?
back. No, they didn't. They never explained how or why. He's just back. I'm fine with that. I like Malgus.
He's cool. Though he did have a really, really cool arc in the main game.
He did.
Like with the flashpoints.
He did, yeah.
But yeah, where he was kind of like the false emperor of the Empire, and it made it cool because both sides you get to fight him, and it made it cool to do that because it makes sense for the Republic to do it. But then the Empire also hates him because he's pretty much like, I'm the true emperor, that kind of stuff. You're like, no, you're not, and so you have to go kill him. So
And you do.
yeah,
And then he comes back.
yeah.
That's Star Wars for you.
This is
Actually,
Malgus came back somehow.
Mal-
Somehow Malgus is alive.
I was just about to say, in canon, there's only one other time I can think of like a character just coming back for no reason, which is Palpatine.
Yeah.
In Legends, that probably happens all the time. I just can't think of it.
Yeah.
But at least in canon, that just doesn't happen. Not saying that the Old Republic is canon, because it technically isn't. I think.
Probably not.
I mean, it was made before the Disney takeover, but Disney's also allowed it to keep going.
There's been parts of it that I guess are, because isn't technically Revan canon now?
Technically, Revan is canon now. Yes. I don't think Malik is, but Revan, at least his name and his character is. Nothing about him, though.
I still like to believe that
I mean, there's no reason that it can't be real.
it,
Real canon.
it has existed.
There's no reason that there's nothing outright saying that it couldn't have happened.
Yeah, and I still like to believe that who was it? That the Darksaber was the reason why the Mandalorians were attacking at Coruscant.
Yeah, that's a good reason.
Mainly because Rebels alluded to that.
Rebels very much alluded to that. They said that Clan Vizsla attacked, and Shay Vizsla, she was the Mandalorian that went with the sacking of Coruscant,
Yeah.
so she very easily could have taken it.
Yeah.
But then... yeah. I never really thought about that, but that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
Now that you say it.
I mean, in Rebels, when they're talking about the Darksaber, they're like, it belonged to Mando, who became a Jedi, who made it, and it was taken by the Mandalorians when they invaded the Jedi Temple. I mean, it was. I think, like they said, it was taken by Clan Vizsla when they invaded the temple.
Yep.
Shay Vizsla was there.
Yep.
They invaded the temple.
Yep.
That's the only time I can think of that
Yeah.
I can point to when it could have happened.
See, that's why I like Dave Filoni-based shows, because he tries so hard to, like, connect everything together.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't always happen, like the time where he was going to try and have Bane and Revan in the Mortis arc of the Clone Wars, but that didn't happen,
Yeah.
sadly.
Still got Bane in there. Not in that arc,
He
but
still got Bane in the Clone Wars, but not Revan, sadly. Like, they had Revan all modeled and everything, but they had to cut him last second, I think,
yeah.
which is sad. But it's just nice to see that there are, at least, if not outright saying, hey, this is canon, there's, like, at least, like, small connections that could say that it is.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, only really the people who know and care about it will recognize it.
Yeah.
So, it's a good time. It's a good time. It's free to play. Highly recommend it.
Yes.
It's been going strong for 6 years?
I think it's been
10
more
years?
than that.
10 years. I think it came out in 2010.
maybe I would probably lean towards 9.
I'm gonna say
But
10, 9 or 10, because I think it either came out in 2010 or 2011.
I would think it's 20. It's December 20th, 2011.
2011, okay. So 9 years.
Yeah.
Nine-ish years.
Yeah.
Something around that. Still going strong. Not as strong as it used to. But hopefully with it now being on Steam, it'll get more traction and more people will play it again.
Yeah, I thought that it honestly would have fallen off a lot, like a while ago.
I feel like it did for a long while, but it has like a really strong, loyal player base.
I think that
I think the cartel market really helps keep it afloat.
I think that the shift from like what is it? From like the Rise of the Hutt Cartel and Shadow of Revan expansions to like Knights of the Fallen Empire, Knights of the Eternal Throne. I think the shift to like that kind of expansions, at least for me, brought it back because Rise of the Hutt Cartel just kind of felt like something tacked on.
It definitely felt tacked on because there was nothing like class exclusive, and like your companions basically meant nothing. Like because there are 2 romance options, and normally when you romance with your companion, like they're not happy or whatever.
Yeah.
They don't care in that. At least with Shadows of Revan, there's like a class quest per class, and like your companions actually talk, I think, at some point, which is cool. And then obviously, the Eternal Throne shit, that's like everybody.
It's so cinematic, and I love it.
It's so cinematic, and I'm going to equate it to like Infinity War and Endgame, where everybody comes together.
Yeah.
to fight the one bad guy.
One thing I don't like though is I am missing companions like on a lot of characters.
Companions are still coming back though.
Really?
Like Kira and Scourge just came back in the latest update.
Okay. Because Kira was the first one I was saying. I'm like, I don't have Kira back.
Yeah, they're still coming back because the story's still going on.
Yeah.
So like, I think it was in the last update. It was either in the last update or like when Onslaught came out. It's at the end of the story. It has nothing to do with the rest of the story though, so it's not the big deal. After the main Onslaught story, Kira and Scourge come to Odessen and talk to you.
Are they together?
Yes,
like
they come together.
I think it's kind of weird that Scourge has kind of like kept his not been an absolute Sith this whole time. Then.
Yeah. No, they travel together. Come to Odessen. Have a good old time.
Yeah. But it's also cool in it to like have those moments when like your character and their companion like meet each other.
Yeah.
Like with my Sith Warrior and Vet. My Sith Warrior was my Sith Warrior is the only character I have that I feel like actually has depth to him. And is not super one-dimensional.
Well, isn't your Sith Warrior also the one that's in the love triangle?
No. Is he?
There was one character that you had that was, and I think it's the Sith Warrior.
I think
because wasn't it Vet and Lana?
I think so. I don't.
Something broke, and you were able to form a love triangle.
No.
Or was it Vet and Jaisa?
It was Vet and Jaisa.
Yeah, because something broke at one point, and you started the love triangle.
Yeah. I remember that. I think
because you can. Like you can romance your companions in that game, and like once you start a romance with one companion, you're not supposed to be able to continue it with the other ones.
Yeah.
But somehow
I got far enough in both of them where I got past that point with both of them before I actually got to the same point with them. So I managed to get past it. So I think I might be married to 2 people. I'm not sure.
I mean, hey, they're both awesome characters.
They are.
On which version of Jaisa you have? Anyways.
Dark. I think you can only romance Dark Jaisa.
I think you can romance both of them. It's just not as entertaining with the light side.
Yeah, I think Dark Jaisa is actually pretty cool.
To be fair though, I didn't know light side Jaisa was a thing.
Really?
Until after I had romanced Dark Side Jaisa.
I thought the part in the game with the Sith Warrior story that leads up to getting Jaisa is one of the coolest in the game.
It's so good.
Because like you are literally taunting like this, like you beat the crap out of her master like 3 times, and you're literally like taunting him between like at least that's the way that I did.
I think I did the same thing.
Like I'm just slandering this guy and like making him feel so ashamed about himself. I'm like, dude, this is awesome.
Being a true Sith.
Yeah, like there was a time like when I first started, I'm like, well, when I say that my Sith Warrior actually has depth, I feel like he's actually gone through like character changes, like some unintentionally and some intentionally. Because like I started and I couldn't decide whether I wanted to do like light side, dark side options with him. And then just like slowly, I started progressively just making dark side options. But then as I started to get more, then I like thought of this thing like maybe Vet is like his moral good. Like the good thing is like that's keeping him from being like an absolute psychopath. So like, and then there's that kind of thing, and then there's like with Vet and Jason and that kind of stuff. But that I don't count. But yeah, and I kind of see that as the reason why he'll pick like a light side option in like Knights of the Eternal Throne or something like that.
See, probably the character that I have that has the most depth is my Jedi Counselor.
Really?
Which I would say is the opposite, where it's like all light, but then the Eternal Throne stuff happening, and then she started making like dark side options. Like I'm gonna kill you. And I think it's because my go-to companion in those expansions, when I have the chance anyways, is Lana.
Yeah.
So, a Jedi spending time with a Sith, even though Lana's not extreme, you're going to make more dark side options hanging out with a Sith.
And I thought about adding some sort of depth in that sort of way to my Jedi Knight, and that I have not made a dark side decision with my Jedi Knight. I'm 100% light with him.
That's what I did with my Counselor until, like, the Fallen Empire shit.
Really?
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Like, then you're frozen carbonite for 5 years. Like, okay, I'm gonna go fuck some shit up.
Yeah, but like I was keeping it that way, and I still haven't made a dark side choice. But I'm like, the fact that it's kind of getting gray here for like what's good and what's bad going up against the Eternal Empire. I'm like, maybe it would make sense for my Jedi Knight to at least get in a romance with Lana. I thought that would be kind of interesting, but then it is insanely vague as to when the romance option is for her in that. Really so I missed it.
Yeah.
Because what is it? It's like it says you get an option. You're in the cantina on Odessin, and it's like I want to talk to.
You have a choice between her and Theron.
Yeah, and it doesn't specify what the choice is. It just.
I think Koth too.
No, I think it's like, I want to talk to Lana. I want to talk to Theron, and it's like and then, just like.
Or like I don't want to talk to anybody.
Yeah, and I thought it was like, normally it specifies when you're gonna romance someone.
Yeah, because it'll say like once you do this, you can't go back.
Yeah, and so I'm like, okay, this isn't really important. Like, this isn't really important, so I'm going to, like, go away or something like that. That's the only option that you have to romance Lana in the entire game. I'm like, you're giving me, like, this massive story. You're giving me this one chance.
She's probably the character, her and Theron are probably the characters that have been around the longest in the game.
Yeah.
And that's the one opportunity, and you missed it.
Yeah. I'm like, what the
It doesn't obviously state it.
Yeah, it's so vague.
Thankfully for the one character that I actually wanted to do that with, I took any option to talk to Lana or whatever, so I didn't miss it with my Inquisitor. I think I did it with.
Huh.
Yeah, because at the time when I was playing my Inquisitor, Knights of the Fallen Empire and the Throne and shit, that already came out, so I knew you could do that. So I specifically didn't romance a companion to go for Lana. It was like, because why not?
Yeah.
It's like one of the few. It's like the only Sith follower the Inquisitor can get that you can romance.
Yeah.
So, well, I guess you can get the Twi'lek chick whose name I can't remember, but she's not a Sith, she's a Jedi.
No, she's not a Twi'lek, she's a
Togruta, yeah.
Togruta?
Yeah, you're right. I can't remember her name, though.
Didn't they make those playable?
Yeah.
Togrutas?
I think they also... Togrutas? I know they made Naudilins playable.
Didn't they?
I don't know about Togrutas. I know Naudilins. I know Naudilins are playable now.
I'm just wondering how helmets would work with those.
I don't think they do. Or it just, it just covers everything. Because that's how it works with Twi'leks, doesn't it?
I don't know, I haven't played as a Twi'lek. Could you keep it down?
We're trying to record a podcast.
I thought they had more. So the base species are Chiss, Cyborg, Human, Miraluka, whatever. Those are two species I've never known. But Miraluka, Mirialan, the green people like Luminara, Ratataki, Sith Pureblood, Twi'lek, and Zabrak. And then there's the cartel market species, which are Cathar, Togruta, and Nautilin.
Togruta, okay.
I thought that you could. I thought that they might have added more since then, but because I remember when they added the Nautilin.
I remember when they added the Twi'leks. Those weren't base species.
Twi'leks?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were.
No, they weren't.
Yeah, they were.
No.
It says right here.
It lies.
It is not.
It lies.
No, maybe it was one that you had to like buy, but it was in the game from the get-go. I know it was.
Oh yeah, you did have to buy it. It was one of those where you had to buy it and you couldn't play it for anything until you bought it. Now it's just free for everyone, I think.
Wait, no. I think it might have been one of those like class-specific ones, like a cyborg.
No, I don't think it was because I remember I like had to unlock it doing something and then I played it.
Really?
Yeah, but that was like when the game was still subscription based.
I know it was like it's like that with the Cathar, Targaruda, and Nautilin, but
I could also be remembering this because this game is 9 years old, almost at this point. So I could be remembering it wrong. Because I played it when the game first came out.
yeah, because I swear it was like it was one of those maybe like I think the only species in the game that's not like locked to specific classes is human.
Yeah, because humans can be anything.
Yeah.
Because I think the Chiss can only be, or at the time, I don't know if it's still the thing, but Chiss can only be operatives.
I don't know about that. I know that
agents. I think it's changed since then, but when the game first came out, I'm pretty sure Chiss could only be like the Imperial agent.
Yeah.
And then like the pureblood Sith could only be warriors or inquisitors.
Yeah, that I remember. Like the cyborg, I think could only be agents or smugglers.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Or bounty hunters, maybe. I don't know.
I think the cyborg was locked to like the shooter classes.
Probably, yeah. Oh, well, there's a chart right here. Let's see here. The Chiss can only be a bounty hunter or imperial agent. Says cyborg can be any. Maybe they changed for the cyborg.
The cyborg can be anything now. I know that.
Okay, then they changed that because you couldn't do that initially. Miraluka can only be Jedi Council or Jedi Knight. I think that makes sense.
Yeah, because those are very like their species are very heavily focused on like the Force.
Yeah, Zabrak can be everything.
Yes.
Twi'lek can be Counselor, Knight, Smuggler, and Inquisitor. Why not a Warrior?
I think because the Inquisitor storyline is based on you being like a Sith slave.
That's true. And that would make sense.
Yeah.
Wait, so the Warrior you can't be Chiss, Miraluka, Mirelin, Rataki, or Twi'lek. But it can be everything else.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Sith and the Empire are very xenophobic.
Yes.
So, sounds about right.
Oh yeah, when you get to level 50 with any species, you can use it for anything.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
So say I were to get a level 50 Chiss as a bounty hunter, then I could be a Chiss Jedi.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Wish I knew that. And there are two different versions of Zabrak, right? Like the normal and like the Sith, right?
Yeah, like the red and black one and like the whatever color they are normally. Yeah, I need to re-download that.
Yeah, same. Should we move on from games? We've been going for almost an hour now.
Yes.
What? I don't know. Let's talk about besides games at the moment. Because there's not really much happening in the ways of Star Wars for anything besides games right now that we follow, anyways.
Yeah, and we already talked about the Bad Batch.
I guess we can talk about Mando now. And like
Yeah.
What's coming to Mando.
Yeah.
First off, if you haven't seen The Mandalorian, season 1, what's wrong with you? It's been out for a while now. It's amazing, and we're gonna probably talk spoilers.
Absolutely, we are.
Because the rumors kind of go with spoilers and whatnot. So that is watch it. It's great. Rumors. Lots of rumors. Probably the biggest rumor is that Ahsoka has a rumored cameo in it.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about that?
I don't really know. Like, I think that I love Ahsoka, but
I think we all do at this point.
I feel like they just kind of like keep extending like. I was gonna say her life, but they just kind of like keep putting her further and further into the future of the series. I'm kind of like. It's getting kind of. It's getting kind of weird at this point because I mean, at the end of Rebels, she's there when that takes place after the last scenes of.
Takes place after Endor, right?
Yeah.
Or is that after Jakku?
Yeah, it's after. I'm pretty sure it's after Endor.
It's definitely post Return. I don't know if it's post Endor or post Jakku.
Yeah. But at that point, I'm like, okay, cool. But she still looks pretty much the same there.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure Mando takes place even further in the future than whenever that was.
I think Mando takes place 5 years after Endor.
Here, I'm gonna do some quick math. So
I'm pretty sure they said it takes place 5 years after Endor. But not before Jakku. But that wouldn't make sense because Endor and Jakku were a year apart. Clearly we know what we're talking about.
okay, here we go. Wikipedia, best source of information.
The only way you have my teacher's trust.
Okay, born 36 BBY. Okay, this threw me off because it says died in there, but that's because she technically died on Mortis.
Yeah.
So.
And it's safe to assume that technically by the time of Rise of Skywalker, she's dead.
Yeah.
I think it would be safe to say that.
It's okay. It says died 20 BBY, Mortis later resurrected, and then died during or prior to 35 ABY. I don't know.
35 ABY? What is that?
I don't know.
Is that before or after Starkiller?
That's probably. Oh, it looks like the final scene of Rise of Skywalker. So, sometime before the end of Rise of Skywalker.
So the Rise of Skywalker was 33 years after Yavin?
I mean, that's when like it was said when Force Awakens was coming out that was 30 years after.
Why doesn't that seem right?
That's always been the case.
I know it is, but that just doesn't sound right to me.
When did you think? What did you think it was?
Well, I didn't know what it was.
Oh.
It's just I just feel like the original characters just seem too old for it to be 30 years.
I guess it depends on the character. Someone like Han, I think it makes sense.
Han makes sense because he's always been like the oldest of the group.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's 30 years if it was supposed to be 30 years after Yavin or 30 years after.
Like Han and Lando makes sense. I feel like Leia seems a bit old for 30 years.
Yeah.
Luke can go either way.
Yeah.
Cause
but also remember, the movies actually came out roughly 30 years after the original ones did, so it actually makes sense.
It would, yeah.
Their age makes sense.
It does and it doesn't. I don't know. It just seemed like they were too old, kind of.
Yeah. But yeah, so let's see here. When does... What year does... I'm hitting the equals button, not delete. When
and
does...
time in Star Wars is weird now because there's two different ways to determine time. There's the battle before Yavin, battle after Yavin, or after Battle Yavin.
I always go with that.
That's what I go with. But then there's also like the before Starkiller incident and the after Starkiller incident.
I think I just saw something like on here.
And the Starkiller incident obviously refers to the Force Awakens. The Force Awakens, which is it's fine, but when you're trying to talk like it screws up like the entire timeline if you're trying to talk about like I don't know the Clone Wars, but you're talking in like the Starkiller incident measurement of time. It's just different. I don't like it. I mean, it's fine, but it's different. I don't like it. My phone is over there.
So, it takes place 4 years after the Battle of Yavin. Ahsoka was born 36 BBY, so she's about 40 at the end of Endor, which actually isn't as old as I thought.
No,
I thought she'd be older. But yeah, I just kind of feel like she should stick to the Clone Wars.
yeah,
I think that Rebels is fine because I mean that's kind of like a Clone Wars sequel if you think about it.
It is because that's what many people equated it to when it first came out because a lot of Clone Wars characters were in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I can kind of understand that because at the time Clone Wars was canceled and like he probably didn't want to let go of those characters without a proper ending.
Yeah.
So in a way they got proper endings, but then season 7 happened. So I can kind of understand that. But I look at how they're using Ahsoka now as how they used Maul in the Clone Wars, where they're just tacking him in there.
Yeah.
At least when they first reintroduced Maul, I felt like they were just kind of like tacking him in there to like say, "Hey, Darth Maul's here."
But then they made him awesome.
Then they made him awesome. I feel more so that way with Rebels than the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
He wasn't as good in Rebels, but he got the ending he deserved in Rebels.
Yeah. Still one of the best parts of Rebels.
It was. The more I think about Rebels, we shit on Rebels a lot.
Yeah.
But the more I think about it, it's a good show.
There's a lot of good, but there's also a lot of bad.
There's a lot of Disney filler.
Yeah.
Like space whales.
A lot of filler that
Doesn't need to be
if
there.
you think about it is kind of important, but maybe for like a scene in an episode later down the line.
Yeah.
So, like, in the episode where they meet Leia, I'm not sure if you saw that episode or what, but
I did.
okay, yeah, they see Leia. They get like the Hammerhead ships or whatever they're
Which
called.
is what makes them canon again.
Yeah, they get those. I don't think those ships play another major role in the show again.
They don't. But then
Except for maybe showing up in like a fight later.
I don't even think they do that because I think the next and only time you see them after that is in Rogue One.
Yeah, when they ram the Star Destroyer.
I think that's the only time you see them after that.
Yeah, like that.
Which is it's cool to see that they're around still because they're based off of KOTOR ships, which is like 1,000 years before the Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
So it's good to see that they're still kicking.
Yeah.
But besides that episode really had nothing.
That was more just like, hey, look, it's Leia. I don't know what the point of Lando's episode was.
He had a couple, didn't he?
He had one.
He showed up in multiple episodes.
His kind of showed up. He's like, hey, kid, I like you. And then just like left. I can't tell you what happened in that episode.
Neither. All I know is that at one point he became the rightful owner of the ghost.
Yes.
And then Hera took it back from him either by force or through like a favor or something.
Maybe, I don't know. That was.
Did that episode take place? That episode would have had to take place after Solo, right? So he wouldn't have had the Falcon.
Yeah, it was after Solo.
Because he wouldn't have had the Falcon then. Because if he had the Falcon, he wouldn't have taken the ghost.
Yeah. Then there's also Hondo, which I actually liked Hondo.
Hondo's great. Hondo's in Galaxy's Edge.
Yes.
Hondo's an old fuck, but I love him.
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably like a species thing that they can just live for a long time.
Probably, yeah.
But it's amazing because Hondo's great.
I think it's just kind of funny to see him go from like
A pirate,
pirate captain to like
a rebel, essentially.
Not really so much a rebel, just kind of like an old man past his prime. It's just like I don't know. It's just like it's just a weird transition, but I still like it.
Hondo was probably one of the weirdest characters that could have really popped up in Rebels.
Yeah.
But I'm so happy he did.
He's like the funniest character in Star Wars, maybe.
He really is. Like
one of them, at least.
What they tried to do with Jar Jar didn't work, but worked with Hondo.
Yeah.
I love Hondo. Hondo's great. And the fact that he's alive for so long makes him even better.
Yeah. He's one of the characters I feel like could just go on forever and I'd be happy.
Yeah, like say he popped up in say he popped up in the High Republic stuff that's going to come out soon.
I mean, I'd question it, but
I'd question it, but I'd be fine with it because Yoda lived to be almost 1,000.
Yeah.
So
okay, I want to see how old Hondo is. How old is Hondo?
Isn't Hondo also voiced by the guy who voices Winnie the Pooh?
I think so.
Because I'm pretty sure he also voices a character in World of Warcraft.
Really?
Yeah. Or voiced a character that is now dead. Who voices Lord Walker Cho? Because I think he voices Lord Walker Cho.
I like how on Wikipedia the picture for Hondo is his picture at Galaxy's Edge. Though his picture in there is kind of inconsistent with him in Rebels because like his little spikes on his chin are a lot shorter in this, even though they're a lot longer in Rebels.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Maybe he shaved. He has no birth date. At least I can't find one.
Where is he? I can't find him.
I mean, you would think that he was at least somewhat older in the Clone Wars, because he doesn't look young.
Yeah, there he is. Jim Cummings. He voices Hondo Ohnaka, Laura Walker Cho in World of Warcraft, and Winnie the Pooh.
Those are different characters.
There are a lot of different characters. They're so very different, but I love it.
But like he's not like young in the Clone Wars, and then he's also in Rebels a few years down the line. And he's also
different.
in Galaxy's Edge, which is 30 years down the line. So yeah, he might be immortal.
I'm fine with that. Yeah, Hondo's great, and that basically Hondo's great.
Speaking of immortal characters, you know one that I recently rediscovered the other day? A character named Abeloth.
Oh, Abeloth is a freak.
Yeah. I think it's really interesting because I think that she was made a character. Do you know her backstory?
I know a little bit of it. She was supposed to be like the mother, essentially, for the Mortis people.
Yeah.
But she was so evil or whatever that they all teamed up to lock her away.
Yeah.
And then later down the line, she escaped her prison, which I think was in the Maw.
Yes.
And then Luke Skywalker defeated her.
Yes. Well, defeated her as in, like, kind of had a standstill.
Yeah.
I don't think she was ever actually
No, she's too
defeated.
powerful to be completely defeated, I think. And that was like, she defeated her with, like, the Solo children, right? Or at least one of them? I think it was at least one of them.
But yeah, the thing what's interesting is, like, I think she was made before, like, the Mortis arc in the Clone Wars.
Oh, the Mortis arc was created in Legends and then brought to the Clone Wars.
Really?
Yes.
Huh.
The Mortis people have been around, or at least the concept of Mortis, I think, anyways, existed before the Clone Wars.
I did not know that.
I don't think their original concept was not what Filoni used in the Clone Wars, but something Mortis was pre-Clone Wars. I know that. I think. Let me just say that I think. I don't know much. The Mortis episodes were weird, and I don't understand them to begin with.
Yeah.
So I don't know much about Mortis in Legends because
It's just a
probably
pyramid.
even weirder.
But yeah, I just think that she's a really kind of almost an out of place character.
Yeah.
Because she's like an immortal being, pretty much, like along there with the father and the son of the daughter.
Well, she didn't start off as immortal.
No, she was like
She was like a
mortal.
normal human or something.
Yeah, and then like there was
found Mortis or whatever, and
something like that, and then kind of became like the caretaker for, or not caretaker, but pretty much essentially a mother for like the the son and the daughter. But then like, what was it? Found. Let's see if I can find it. I'm on the Wikipedia page right now. Great source of information. Think she found, what was it? The Font of Power. I don't know if that's in the Clone Wars or not.
I don't remember that.
But yeah, she pretty much went in there, which made her kind of go insane and become super duper powerful. And so the ones were like, hey, we don't like that, so they locked her away. No, I think that they left to Mortis from there and left her there, and then that's when like they, I don't know, I'm still reading this like as I'm going, but
anyways, she's a freak of nature.
Yes.
And I wish she could have been explored in the Mortis arc potentially.
Yeah.
However, with the Mortis arc and then like artwork of the Mortis people in Rebels, she's nowhere to be seen, so I think it's safe to assume that she won't be canon anytime soon, which I guess is fine because the new Star Wars really doesn't focus on like undefeatable beings.
Yeah, I wish they would dabble in weird stuff like that though.
They really should. I would love it. Did you ever? I never read any of these, but there were books where there were like zombies and shit.
What?
Yeah, stormtrooper zombies. I want them to explore stuff like that.
Yeah, or like the Yuzong Vong.
Yeah, the Vong. Oh.
And they're insanely hard to pronounce stuff.
Basically, if Star Wars, if the people behind Star Wars now would just take a look at Legends and just readapt some of it, maybe not just like not rewrite it and not just use what's there, but like readapt it. I think they could go for a while with like movies and animated shows.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just imagine, like, a Yuzon Vong War animated series.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing.
That'd be pretty cool.
That'll never happen, but that would be amazing. Like, think about it this way: if it wasn't for Rebels, Chiss wouldn't exist in canon.
That's
nowadays.
actually true, yeah.
Like, the Chiss wouldn't have existed, and the Chiss are what kind of like in the forefront of like the Yuzon Vong stuff, because they're like in the edge of the galaxy. I think where the Vong come from. Well, not where they come from, but where they enter the galaxy.
The Vong come from a different galaxy, I think.
I think I don't know. I just remember that at least Thrawn joined the Empire to help protect the Chiss from the Vong. I think. I could be wrong. I don't know much about Legends Thrawn, except for the fact that he's a tactical genius.
Yes, he is.
Which is the one thing that Rebels needed. Because the Rebels really made the Empire look stupid.
Yes. Okay, yeah, that's what I do not like about Disney. About Disney Star Wars is that they make at least stormtroopers just look like complete idiots.
Yeah,
Like,
they really do.
the original trilogy, I mean, are they like absolute geniuses? No. But they're still made to, like, built up to be like a threat. Like, Obi-Wan in A New Hope says, like, only stormtroopers could fire shots these precise.
Yeah.
And they, like, it's actually, like, said that they were missing intentionally on the Death Star so that they could lead them to Alderaan.
Yeah.
Or not Alderaan, Yavin. But, yeah.
I've said this since Thrawn came back into canon. Thrawn was the best thing that's happened to the Empire.
Yeah. Now at least there's one person who doesn't look like an absolute fool.
Yeah.
And I like it in Rebels when they like when the Empire like blows up their fuel depot and then
that
they're
being
like,
said, remember the time Thrawn fought clouds?
okay, that what the heck?
That was just a weird thing to begin with, though.
Yeah.
The Bendu is just a weird creature.
Yeah.
But that's the one time I question Thrawn's tactical decisions to fight nature.
I guess, but also to be fair in that situation,
I don't know what I would do.
Yeah. But
it's just shooting a cloud.
But like when they blow up their own fuel depot, he's kind of like, "What the heck are you doing?"
Yeah.
But yeah, even though they killed someone in it, he's pretty much like, "Was it really worth it
No,
to blow up like our entire fuel supply?"
To kill one guy.
Yeah.
No, usually not worth it.
Yeah.
Usually. But let's just keep going on like the good stuff about Rebels, the stuff we liked, because since we seem to talk down about it more than we talked good about it, or at least I do, I feel like.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that Ahsoka's in it.
Yeah.
Because Ahsoka is done well in that.
Yeah.
I would say the same with Rex, maybe not as well, but it is good to see Rex.
Yeah.
That he gets a proper ending as well.
Yeah, I like seeing the Rex and Wolf and Gregor episode.
My only question is, where the fuck did Gregor come from?
I don't know. Wasn't he supposed to be dead?
Well, he stayed behind on that awful planet in that awful Clone Wars arc that I don't like.
Don't
to
want
talk
the
about.
droids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He stayed behind to cover their escape, and then like the Rhydonium or whatever exploded around him, so he should have died, but he didn't.
Yeah.
I have looked into it a little bit, and he actually went to serve in the 212th as an officer.
Really?
After that, not a commando, as an officer.
Huh.
And then, at some point he met up with Rex and Wolf, or just Rex, and then they went to find Wolf or whatever, got their chips pulled. I don't know. But he served in the 212th after that.
Yeah.
So.
Also, what happened to Wolf and Gregor after Rex left them? They just keep doing their thing on this planet?
I guess. Until, they came back and got them, and then Gregor fucking dies.
Yeah.
The one actual impactful death in that show.
Yeah.
Like, people don't die in that show, but when they do, it's like no one important.
Yeah.
Until, like, the only people that I can think of that are important that did die was the Inquisitors, Gregor, Kanan. I'll count Thrawn and Ezra, but we don't know for certain.
I think they should be dead.
They should be dead, but I won't count them out, because if you've read the Thrawn book, Thrawn is amazing at survival too.
Yeah.
And then Maul.
Yeah.
And that's not a lot of characters.
Yeah. There was one death in it though that really caught me off guard. It was, what was it? It was like the governor on Lothal.
Governor Price?
Yeah, and it was like, she was pretty much like, the Empire is kind of like coming after me or something like that.
that was someone else.
I think it was the one before, whoever it was before.
Yeah, it was like the one under her.
Yeah, and she was pretty much realizing like the Empire is like I did something wrong. The Empire's coming after me. I need to get out of here. And they were like protecting her to get her out. And she got into the ship, and the ship exploded.
Yeah,
that one really caught me off guard because I'm like, wait a minute, they actually just like killed the character right there.
Yeah. Yeah. That's one thing I wish they did more with it. One thing I did really like about, especially the later seasons, was, as the internet referred to him as Hot Callus. I liked Callus with the beard. He looked way better.
Yeah.
I thought it interesting that Callus, of all people, would defect from the Empire.
Yeah.
I feel like that was handled way better than... I'm comparing it to the Battlefront 2 campaign. That was awful.
Yeah.
Callus did good because it wasn't like, oh, well, let's just jump ship. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't Battlefront 2. It's like him and Zeb survived on a frozen moon.
Yeah.
And then like it kind of just became like a back and forth thing where they'd help each other until he became Fulcrum and just full on joined the rebellion.
Mm-hmm.
It was a cool way to bring Yoloran into Rebels, though.
Yes. How he stuck with them.
Yeah. It's good.
I like the entirety of the season 2 finale. That, I think, is a very, very good episode.
I think that was probably the best Rebels.
I think that's the best Rebels episode.
Yeah, followed by the series finale, I would say.
That was pretty good too.
It was the fight we never thought we'd get, but we got it.
Yeah. One thing I just absolutely love about that episode is, I mean, I've been very vocal. I hate Ezra. I don't like Ezra at all. I just don't find him likable.
No, he's not. I don't think he's supposed to be, though, or at least he wasn't at the beginning.
And so I love it when he goes face to face with Vader, and then Vader just hops down and just like one-shots him pretty much. Just like destroys him.
Once again, showing how strong Vader is, which is like, I like that they've been doing that recently.
Yeah. Especially like in that, like Fallen Order and
Rogue
that kind of stuff.
Whatnot, yeah. Because I feel like the original trilogy movies didn't really do that.
Yeah, a lot of it was
like
just
they knew he was powerful, but they didn't show it.
Yeah. But then also that kind of just like completely shifted not the tone of the show, but like the direction of it, because at that point Kenan's blind, Ahsoka's gone.
Ezra starts using dark side abilities.
Yeah, even though they never explore that further.
No, they didn't.
Only for like one episode.
Maul pops in and out all the time.
Yeah, Maul's now a player in this. Vader just up and disappears.
Yeah, I don't think Vader's seen again in the show after that.
I don't think so.
Fine, because after that, Thrawn comes around, and then Tarkin shows up again for a bit. I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Which is fine, because if they had to replace Vader with anyone, I would want it to be a Thrawn or Tarkin.
Mm-hmm.
You can never have enough Tarkin, I think.
No.
I don't think they explored Tarkin enough.
No. But, yeah, and then I thought it was kind of annoying how much they talked about the rule of 2 and how big of a deal it was in that episode. Like, you could only go up the elevator if there were 2 people. I thought the part, like, lifting up the doors to go through, I thought that was kind of a cool way to do that.
That made sense, but elevator... I don't think it was more so the rule of 2, more so to get Ezra away from Ahsoka and Kanan.
True.
And Maul was just trying to, like, equate it to the rule of 2 so they would understand it.
Mm-hmm.
Or, like, understand it, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
The rule of 2 is bullshit anyways. No one follows it. I mean, technically the rule of 2 is 2 Sith Lords, but then you've got Sith Assassins, Sith Inquisitors. The rule of 2 doesn't make sense.
Well, I think it makes sense as to why it exists, I would say.
Yeah.
Mainly because if you had a bunch of Sith and the Old Republic proves it, they'd just be killing each other the whole time.
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess you're right, yeah.
And the point of the 2 is so that there's the one with all the power and the one who's craving the power.
Yeah.
And the person who wants the power, so when the person who wants the power kills the person who has the power, then they have someone who can train to want the power.
If you've got the rule of 2, then how do, like, the Inquisitors and the Assassins fit into that, then?
Mainly because they're not, like... I would say probably because they're not, like...
Are they not considered Sith and just dark side users?
I think it's probably more of that.
because I can understand it if it's that, but like, because I don't know.
To me, it seems like Inquisitors are more trained to like just hunt down.
I mean, the Inquisitor's purpose is just literally to just hunt down the remaining Jedi. After that, their purpose has been served, and they'll probably just be killed.
Yeah, and then like, I don't think they're so much trained a ton in like the dark side and that stuff. I think it's just more so
because
you learn this so you can go kill this dude.
All the Inquisitors were former Jedi, so they already know how to fight. They just teach them basic dark side abilities so they can actually like be stronger.
Yeah,
and they specifically pick the weak ones so they can't overthrow the Empire.
Mm-hmm.
But then, I guess with like the assassins, you're looking at Savage and Ventress.
I guess
technically
Maul initially.
Yeah, because at the time Plagueis was still alive too.
Yeah.
But that doesn't explain why he was called Darth Maul.
Yeah, he wasn't a Darth.
Maybe that was the plan because Palpatine killed Plagueis after Phantom Menace anyway, so maybe that was just the plan for him to be like Darth Maul after Plagueis was murdered.
Probably, yeah.
So I don't know. The rule of two in that way makes more sense than how I kind of thought of it, and the way I thought of it didn't really make sense anyways. So
what was that?
Like when I thought of it, it should be like only 2 people with lightsabers and force powers. Like no, like Inquisitors and like the Assassins just shouldn't be a thing at all.
Yeah, the way I see it is it's like those people like aren't meant to like be Sith. They're more just kind of there to do their dirty work so that they can stay in the shadows.
That makes more sense to me. But that does make more sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll stick with that.
You excited for the High Republic?
Yeah. Well, I'm excited, but I'm not at the same time. Mostly because at the moment the High Republic is just books and comics.
Yeah, that's my main thing with it.
I did pre-order one of the books that got pushed back to next year. So it'll be a while before any of us really get to read it. I do like the concept that it's not really like the Republic and the Jedi versus the Sith and the Empire. It's like the Jedi and the Republic versus space Vikings.
Yeah.
That's cool. It's cool to see, like, from the concept art, like, new lightsabers, like, lightsabers with, like, physical cross guards.
Mm-hmm.
There was what looked like the Darksaber in one of them, which was cool. I don't know if it was the Darksaber or just a black lightsaber crystal, but
I want them to bring back black lightsabers.
That was so cool. That was one of the best parts of The Force Unleashed.
Yeah.
Just
finding it.
Yeah.
I think I found it on accident. I'm not sure.
This sounds about right.
I like to just parkour into random places in games.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite things to do in that game specifically because, the jumping and the dashing.
Yeah.
Was great.
Well, one thing I like about the High Republic is that it's exploring an era that I have always wanted to see more of, and that's before the Phantom Menace.
Yes.
There's, like, nothing about that.
The only thing that really takes place before the Phantom Menace isn't even canon anymore, which would have been like KOTOR in the Old Republic.
Yeah.
And even still, that's like 1,000 years before the Phantom Menace. The High Republic is 200 years.
Yeah, I was thinking like pretty close to it. So
theoretically, and this is the first thing I thought of when they said it was 200 years, is that Yoda could be around.
He probably will be.
I hope they don't focus on him and he just makes like small appearances now and then, but he very well could show up in any of those stories.
Yeah. How long was Yoda Grand Master?
Grand Master? I don't know. All I know is that he was alive for almost 900 years.
Because I know that he... Let's see. How old was Yoda when he became Grand Master?
I know for a time he was Grand Master, then in Legend anyway, he was Grand Master, then handed it off to Mace Windu, and then became the Grand Master again when the Clone Wars started. Because Windu took a focus to like being a general and not the Grand Master.
Yeah. It doesn't give a clear date. All that's known is that he was until 19 BBY when the Jedi Order was driven underground.
No shit.
What is interesting though is that there is the like Jedi book that whatever it's called that came in like that collection of like the Empire books and it was interesting because there's little notes left from characters just like kind of written in like the margins on them, and one of them is Yoda. There's only one that's written by Yoda in the whole book, I think. And it's talking about his master.
Ooh.
And I don't even remember much about it, but then like Ahsoka wrote like a note under it. It's like Yoda had, like it's weird to think Yoda had a master at one point.
Oh, hey, maybe that could be explored in the High Republic stuff. Who knows?
Maybe.
Who knows?
Those books were good.
I wish I had them.
I don't have the Sith one. I don't know why, but
That's probably the one I would want the most.
yeah. It looks weird. I've like seen it before. Like it has different like it's really cool. The books are really cool in that like the pages kind of feel like cut in a certain way. So like when we read the Jedi one, it almost feels like it's an old book.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't even know how to describe it, but the Imperial one, all the pages are black on the edges, so it is just like pretty much a solid black thing with the Imperial logo on the front.
Nice.
And with I have the Bounty Hunter one, and like all the pages are kind of like frayed, so it's almost kind of like a weathered book. They're almost kind of like frayed on the edges of them. But with the Sith one, it's almost like all the pages, like there's sections of pages that have like different styles, and they're like shaped weird. I don't know how to describe it, but it's kind of weird and kind of cool.
Interesting.
But yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, no, I'd like to get those books at some point. I know I've read at least the Jedi one because you have it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I read the other two, but I don't know. I feel like that'd just be cool to have.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the coolest parts in it is there's a section in it that's like the prophecy of the chosen one, and if you open it up to it, it's all just like blacked out because apparently it's supposed to be. I think it was pretty much owned by the Jedi, and then like some of them would write in and that kind of stuff. And once the Jedi went under, then the Empire had it, and Palpatine wanted this part just like pretty much just like put in archives, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And Palpatine wanted absolutely no reference to like the Chosen One, that kind of stuff. And apparently, in, like the original release of this book, it was like ripped out. Actually,
That's cool.
But then, like in an updated, but apparently people were confused by that. So in an updated version, they just blacked it out.
Man,
and
that sucks. I would have rather had like the ripped out version because that makes more sense than just like black inking it.
Yeah, but like you can still like kind of see like, but definitely not enough to read any of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then like after the Empire fell, then they came into Luke's hands.
Right.
So that's what it is.
It's weird because that's technically a canon book because Ahsoka's in it.
Yeah.
It's weird to see like the hands they went through because it goes through Yoda. Doesn't it go through Dooku and Qui-Gon too? Then Obi-Wan
Yes.
and Anakin, then Ahsoka, then the Empire, then to Luke.
Yeah.
It's weird to see like the line it goes through.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it kind of makes sense though because Yoda was Dooku's master, Dooku was Qui-Gon's master, Qui-Gon was Obi-Wan. So it makes sense, but it's also weird at the same time.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I want them.
There's also cool stuff like in the other books, like with the Bounty Hunter one.
Is it like the Bounty Hunter code in that or something? Or
Yes, I think like all the codes are in all of them.
Yeah.
And kind of stuff. But there's like notes from Boba in there, notes from Jango and Bosk, and I think Greedo's in there, Dengar. It's just cool to see like these little notes from these characters in there. And there's actually what I'm surprised how an accurate tip in the Imperial book, because that one is supposed to be a story of like the rebels managed to get like this Imperial handbook pretty much that gives all these basics, and so there's notes from rebels in there, and there's a part where it's talking about ATSTs, and it has like a blueprint diagram of it, and Leia has a note in there pointing to the back of an ATST. It's like this is their weak spot, and in Battlefront that's actually true. That's actually their weak spot in Battlefront.
That's awesome.
And I think it maybe says something about that with like AT-ATs, because in Battlefront, if you shoot them in the belly, that's weaker. But yeah.
I love how like accurate because there's so many people working on Star Wars that how accurate to other things can be.
Mm-hmm.
It's not always the case, but it can be.
Yeah.
Because like at least in one case I can think of where like two works don't line up is the Ahsoka novel and the season 7 finale, where in the novel her lightsabers are still green, but in season 7 of the Clone Wars they're blue.
Yeah.
Who cares? But still, that's the first thing that pops to mind. There's plenty more, but
yeah,
it's just people take notice, or just like pay attention to like other things, and like and it just works.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly between, like, I would say, like, the video games and stuff. But that's also because it's all under EA's control now.
Yeah.
But and EA puts they may, I forgot about this, that their thing was that their contract with Disney was only 10 years and it's been 7 years already.
Really?
Yeah.
And they've put out
4 games
4.
and a really shitty mobile game.
Yes.
For the 4 games that they've put out, they've done pretty good.
They've been okay, but
Like they've been accurate, I would say, to like certain things, like, you know, the shooting of the belly of the AT-AT. Yeah. They've been accurate with stuff like that, and then like accurate with like places or references to like things that have only shown up in like the Clone Wars or Rebels or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So like they do their research, except when it comes to clone skins. They try though. I'll give them that. They try.
Yeah, Battlefront 2015 was okay. It just didn't feel done.
No, it really didn't. That, and it felt extremely restricted being only the original trilogy.
Yeah.
I mean, it was fine, and I liked how it was like multiple maps per planet.
Yeah.
But it just felt super restricted.
Yeah. And Battlefront 2 was a disaster
at launch. Anyways. I wish they put more of a focus on like things that didn't happen in the movies.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the people who are playing video games also have watched like the shows and stuff and would get that more than just like the movie fan base.
And that's why I like the Clone Wars season.
Yeah.
Because their initial release was definitely just the movies.
Yeah.
Because I mean prequels, I mean original trilogy and sequels, I mean that's mainly just movies.
Because that's really all they have for that.
Yeah, and Clone Wars was just Naboo and Kashyyyk, weren't those the only?
At launch, yes. It was just Naboo and Kashyyyk. Then Geonosis came
Then
along.
just Yoda and Maul, which, first of all, why on earth are those the only 2 launch?
Well, they plan to have all of the Clone Wars characters, Anakin, Obi-Wan, Grievous, and Dooku at launch as well, but they didn't have time to finish them, so they just did them as DLC instead.
So they released them a year later.
Well, they had to go back and rework everything.
That's true, yeah.
So I'm putting more of the blame on that on EA and not on DICE, because DICE seems to really care.
Yeah.
EA is in it for the money.
Yeah.
But they always are.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. DICE seems to care, and that's all that matters to me, because they're trying.
But yeah, then Fallen Order.
Was amazing.
Yes. I trust Respawn with anything.
Yeah.
Even my soul.
Well, I'm not going to go that far. But I do trust Respawn myself.
Yeah. And then Squadron's coming out.
Which is a new, like, well, I wouldn't say new, but they're like, this is like the first, like, their game.
Yeah.
Because they've worked on, like, they're like a supporting studio for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they did Starfighter Assault and Battlefront 2, and that's really the only thing I can think of that they've done.
Yeah.
But now they're getting their own game.
Mm-hmm.
So, what is their studio called again?
Oh, boy.
It's based in Canada, right?
I think so.
I can't remember what the name of them is. But they have a Twitter account and I follow it.
So you knew enough at one point to
follow. It was retweeted by EA Star Wars, so I followed them.
Motive, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. Because they did... I know they did Starfighter Assault, and I think the campaign, while DICE did the multiplayer.
Yes.
And then now Motive is getting their own game.
Yeah.
Which is good for them. I mean, they got the 2 parts of Battlefront 2 that were probably the worst received.
Yeah.
But, hey, they're still around, and they're making a game that looks amazing.
Yeah.
So.
And then there's more Fallen Order stuff to come out, right?
Yes. I think that they've confirmed that Fallen Order was the first game in a new franchise.
Nice.
They haven't confirmed that they're working on a sequel, but it's basically... You know, they're probably working on it, but they can't say anything yet.
Mm-hmm.
So, whether it's a direct sequel or something that's like a tie-in with like new characters or whatever, but it's still like the same gameplay style.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We don't know yet.
Yeah.
It's too soon to know. Hopefully we'll know, like, I don't know, in like a year.
Hopefully we don't get as bad of a reveal for that as we did the first Fallen Order.
To be honest, I don't even remember the Fallen Order reveal.
It was awkward.
Because that was live.
That's where they were sitting in the audience.
That one. Right. I try not to remember that.
Yeah. You're welcome for bringing it back.
Oh boy. Yeah, no, that was I think they've now earned their stage time instead of audience time.
Yeah.
Cuz EA said that they weren't expecting it to sell well, and it did way better than what they expected.
Mm.
So good on Respawn for making it the best the best for making the best single player Star Wars game in like almost a decade. Because there's been no other good Star Wars games since then.
Yeah.
There's
been no other Star Wars games
The last good Star Wars game that had a single player focus before Fallen Order was Force Unleashed 2.
Yeah.
And that wasn't even that great. It was kind of like, oh, the first one to do, let's make a second one.
It was fun. It was really short.
I feel like that would have been like a better story DLC for the first one.
Yeah.
But,
Ultimate Edition for the first one was really good.
I still have yet to play it.
You should do it.
I have it on Steam. It
Nice.
came in the $200 bundle.
You should do it.
I
It's pretty
should.
good. It's only like 2 levels. That's 3 levels, but only 2 of them
I
are
have to
set.
play through the entire game first, though, but that's
No, you don't.
fine.
You don't.
I don't?
No.
Oh.
There's the main game and then those 3 levels.
What?
They're separate saves.
Okay.
I mean, you might want to at least learn how to play the game.
I mean,
on
I'll
PC.
probably play through the entire game anyways, because I haven't played the entire game since it came out.
Yeah. Okay, so I initially had it on the Wii, and on the Wii,
I think I did too.
it was a pretty good version.
It was not the best version, though.
No, it wasn't bad.
It wasn't the PSP version.
Well, one thing I liked is I always wanted to get all the lightsaber crystals because
Yes.
I thought it would be cool. I think that the colors are better in the Wii version because, I mean, while there's probably more color variety, well, I'm not entirely sure, but in the like Xbox PC version, whatever it is, there's like these weird effects on all the lightsabers and not so much changing the colors. But on the Wii version, there's like I want to say 6 or 7 colors, but then there's 3 shades of each color.
Yeah.
So you have like your light blue, your dark blue, like
I'm
your
pretty
kind of
sure
medium
that was
blue.
the same on like the other version, wasn't it?
I don't think so.
I don't know. I only used just the red one.
I
The
used
red or the green, solid green one.
I used the black. The black wasn't in the Wii version, but in order for me to do this, I also wanted all the hilts too, which I liked how you could change the hilt in the Wii version.
Yeah, that was cool.
But in order for me to do this, I had to, go through the game a few times. The thing is, there's no level select in the Wii version.
No, there isn't. You gotta
So,
play through the entire game every time.
I probably played through this game maybe 30 times in order to get everything, and I didn't use walkthroughs.
Oh, wow. I'm
So
sorry.
I'm searching every single, like, crack and crevice in order to find this, and there was one on Raxus Prime that you fight an ATST, and you're in, like, this hangar thing. In almost like this hangar bay where you fight it. And after you beat the ATST, in order to find this crystal, you need to hit this control panel, run over to like this like kind of thing where the ATST would kind of I guess dock in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Jump onto like this hook thing, jump into the ceiling, and the crystal will be.
How would you know that?
I don't know how I found this.
And you actually found everything?
Yes, I have every hill and every crystal in the game.
I wouldn't have the patience for that. And I don't now. I don't think I would then.
And keep in mind, this is when I was like 9, so I didn't really have a ton of other games to be playing.
That's fair.
And I thought that it was the most fun thing in the universe.
One thing that the Wii version did that I liked is how it had motion controls where you could actually like swing to attack.
Yeah, and you could get kind of crazy if you just like flail it around,
Yeah.
because you would just like go absolutely nuts and just destroy everything.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. The Wii version, the lightsaber wasn't backwards, right?
It was not, no.
And I think the only reason it did that was because of the motion controls.
Yeah.
I prefer it backwards.
I think it looks cooler, but it's
don't
kind
know.
of weird when that's the only way you hold it.
I don't know. I liked it at the time because it was different.
Yeah.
And at the time, the only other thing that did that was Ahsoka, because those came out around the same time.
Yeah.
So I just thought it was different and cool. So I was like, I like that better.
I thought it was in like the promotional stuff. It looked like really cool. I mean, I remember seeing the first like teaser for The Force Unleashed where he brought, I don't know if you remember, but when he brought down the Star Destroyer.
Yep, that was a good trailer.
And he's just standing there, and then he just whips out the red lightsaber. We're like, oh, dude! And that was like the only thing we knew about it for a while. But
didn't he show up in a non-Star Wars game before The Force Unleashed?
Soul Calibur 4.
Yeah.
Him, Yoda, and Darth Vader were in that game.
I don't know anything about Soul Calibur 4, but that just sounds weird.
I think they have a thing with having like cameos from other games in there. Like Link is in the GameCube version of Soul Calibur 3, I want to say.
What?
And Geralt from Witcher is in Soul Calibur 6.
Interesting.
But yeah.
Interesting choice of Yoda, Vader, and the Apprentice, who didn't even have his game yet.
Yeah.
Was he still voiced? Did he have a voice in that?
Probably.
And was he voiced by Sam Witwer?
Probably.
Interesting. Kind of like in the same vein of that, where Starkiller was in Soul Calibur before his own game, the Revenge of the Sith game came out before the movie did.
Yeah.
Why did they think that was a good idea?
I don't get why things do that. Like,
I can understand like the tie-in video game, but why before the movie came out?
I don't know.
Never played it. It seems like a lot of fun though.
It's alright. I enjoyed it. I mean, I only played on emulator on a crappy computer, but and there was a part in the last level where the screen would glitch out and it would just get like red lines on the screen like everywhere, so it was impossible to see. But there was like a multiplayer mode in it where you could duel your friends, and if you pick the same character, you get either like a light or dark version of the other person. Like say I picked Obi-Wan, then like we both picked Obi-Wan, like I would be normal Obi-Wan, you'd be like dark Obi-Wan.
Oh, that's cool.
And like you'd have a red lightsaber and that kind of stuff.
That's actually really cool. I like that.
Yeah.
I hear like people on the internet say nothing but greatness about it, except for the fact that it came out before the movie.
Yeah. It's yeah, I enjoyed it. It was pretty fun.
I might try to emulate it one day,
You
although emulators just never seem to work for me. So, I don't know.
Yeah, you seem to have some trouble.
Anytime I try to emulate anything, that's why I'm happy that Persona 4 came to Steam, so I don't have to emulate it.
Yeah. We tried to get you to do Persona 3 and never got that to work.
Yeah.
Mainly because that was a weird emulator.
Yeah, I mean, the only time I've ever gotten emulators to work was on my phone, and I was playing, like, Pokemon from the Game Boy Advance. Like, that was the first time I played, like any of the Gen 3 stuff, like Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald was an emulator on my phone in high school. And it was worth it. Never finished it. Not the point. This is the Pokemon podcast.
This isn't the emulation podcast.
We've been going for almost 2 hours now. I think we should wrap up.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us for the first episode of the Wrist Rocket podcast.
This experiment going on.
Yeah. Fits in with the ever-evolving ways of the bunch of Dums and podcasts.
Yeah.
I think for the most part, it's just going to be the two of us.
Yeah.
We might bring a guest on every now and then, but we're not going to expand the cast to 3 people like we did with Now Loading. Ugh, sorry. Just because people refer to us as 2 halves of a Star Wars encyclopedia, so it would just make sense if it was like the 2 of us. We'll probably have guests on when like movies start coming out. We start watching movies. Maybe we'll get like drinks on here once we get like for periodic updates through our watch through that we haven't done in a while because Corona.
Yeah.
So, yeah, all in all, good times. Good times. And thanks for coming by.
Yeah.
Do you want to say anything before we sign off?
This probably went about as it normally does in our normal conversations.
Yeah, no structured going any which way.
It just kind of goes as it goes.
Yeah, if you want to find us, you can find Clover over on Twitter, link in the description. You can find me on Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram.
I do like nothing on my Twitter, so don't expect much.
You're there. So it's at least a place to find you on the internet.
It is.
So, yeah, we'll see you in the next episode, whenever that might be, because I don't know how consistent this will be.
Just a fun thing to do from time to time.
I feel like we should do this at least once a month.
Yes.
And I feel like we can be more consistent than Now Loading because there isn't a structure and we don't have to wait. It's not like we have to do something before we do the podcast.
Yeah, we can just talk.
Yeah. Anyways, thanks for stopping by. Have a great day.